Good to see you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to eluukkanen livestream here at 15th of May. And indeed, it's in between of May currently, yeah. It's quite surprising. Things go fast, aren't they? 2020, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, eluukkanen here. Another Friday stream. And what wouldn't it be a Friday stream without a time to make an original song? Indeed, I'm a composer by nature, by practitioner, and what really is part of that is making music. And we're going to be making an original song today here at eluukkanen with you. Hopefully you're enjoying your time at Friday, because Friday often is one of the liveliest days. Just before weekend, and then weekend you can rest a little bit, and then again comes the worst day, that is called Monday. That's what they say. For me personally, Friday is even more better when it comes to composing streaming, indeed. And today we're going to be making a song for a dungeon, indeed. And dungeon is this sort of place, sort of like environment for RPGs, usually to put enemies in, treasures and all this sort of stuff. Often, of course, a dungeon in other instances means a place where you lock people up, but in game terms it means a place to really explore and go and defeat monsters and so forth. So we're going to be very much doing music for that today here at eluukkanen. This song is hopefully going to be played in a game that I'm currently making. If it goes well, that's the plan. That is the gist of it. You might notice that I'm wearing this sort of like heavily clothed over here, and you might think, hey, it's May there. Why are you still so heavily clothed? But I tell you, it just snowed again outside. I'm just on my computer doing some things, and then I'm just like, oh man, it's snowing again. Well, that's that. But we are going to be today making some things over here. We had just a kind of a day in between without any streams yesterday, which is very healthy for me. Streaming is lovely, but of course it is energy consuming. You know, you have to be in front of camera and talk to people and so forth. Hopefully we're going to be doing that today. But I was very happy for the fact that I was able to just be away and such, and now get back into the action. We have already a few viewers watching here over us. Very good. Good to see you. If you want to say hello, you can just put hello over here, and voila, it says hello. Indeed. Magical things. But we're going to be adding some information before we start, and of course I'm going to be telling you what the track is going to be about. Of course, dungeon is this sort of area, as I just mentioned, where you fight enemies, but also dungeon is this sort of there can be different dungeons. There can be ice dungeons, there can be sort of medieval dungeons, all just dungeons, obviously. But what makes them interesting is that, you know, the music really creates this sort of atmosphere of uncertainty. You're just in the dungeon, just feeling the anxiety, or there's danger in so many instances coming to your way. In so many games nowadays, however, dungeons are not that dangerous. In fact, games are not that hard to begin with in modern days. So it's a shame. But we're going to be, in our games, in my game, I'm going to be making very much the dungeon to be forced to be reckoned with. Because one of the first things there, the lighting is very dim. You can't really see much there. You know, that gives the atmosphere. Of course, the
16.
music is going to be a part of that.
What kind of sorcery is this?
What kind of sorcery? What are you talking about, my friend? Hello there, 16. This is a sorcery of eluukkanen kind. Yes, I'm not a sorcerer, gladly not really interested into dark arts, to be honest. But I'm very much a happy person to do the creative arts, the music and so forth. This is the sorcery we are currently making here. So welcome. We are just beginning. You are
PBSA.
just in time. Hello, PBSA.
Hello. I hope you had a pretty nice break yesterday.
I was very happy. I'm much more excited, as you can see right now. And, you know, you just need those. I just streamed like last 20 days, like straight. So, yeah, it was very good. I was just actually, one of my part of that, I was in a strawberry field trying to make the strawberries, you know, just there was this sort of, you know, grasses, and then I just picked that up and tried to save the strawberries. But unfortunately, it snowed here. But hey, PBSA, get to see as well as 16. But yes, dungeons. Do you have any favorite dungeons when it comes to games and so forth? My favorite experience with dungeons, I suppose, well, depends. I do like some dungeons that are I actually looked into the Daggerfall dungeons. I would like to experience them because they are quite dangerous looking, at least, and you know they are procedurally generated, which makes them kind of interesting in a sense. Modern 3D dungeons are not really procedurally generated in so many games, if I'm right. Yes. How is your day, 16 and PBSA? That is, of course, important as well to ask. Let me just put information here before we start, because, of course, dungeon awaits. Dungeons in, of course, as I said, not in traditional sense. I'm not going to be putting a dungeons that people are locked into. This is kind of like a cave environment sort of fashion that we're going to be making this song for. Composing live stream music. Composing stream. I'm not sure how people react to live composing streams. I personally am a huge fan of that because, of course, I'm a composer. So, of course, you know, of course, it really kind of like scratches my itches. That's how some would say, of course. Here we go. I have an itch for making music, and that's what we're going to be doing today. If you have any ideas on the music on itself, let me know. Because, of course, we have no knowledge of what we're going to be doing beforehand. That's the thing. You never know. And now you're going to see it in action. Let us begin without further ado. I'm not actually going to be sharing this too much around. I'm going to be still
16.
Sharing this in the Discord.
Not a favorite, but there is one dungeon in the Final Fantasy series where near the end there is a chest, Mimic, that wiped me out and had to start the dungeon over.
Isn't that kind of a nasty dungeon? You know, that kind of Mimic just coming from the treasure chest and taking you down. That doesn't sound nice at all. Man. Can you say it's a good one? I don't know. But we're going to be perhaps no. This is going to be a first dungeon for the one of my game I'm doing, so it's not going to be super hard. And actually, it's kind of an optional dungeon. You might not actually go there, but that's the dungeon below the main village that we're currently going to be doing. This sort of like a cave system over there. That is the plan. So we shall see how it actually will turn up to be. I actually like some dungeons in Final Fantasy XII, a game that I played a while ago, if you know that game, Final Fantasy XII. I personally like that. Some of the dungeons were actually like quite large, quite different, and I like some dungeons that have different mechanics with them when you have them. I do find that very lovely. Now we're going to be on, let me just put information.
PBSA.
I'm good, and today is pretty sunny.
And today is pretty sunny,
oh,
so
nice.
I put my cat catching a bit of it.
So your cat can, you know, have kind of peaceful time in is it her or him? In the older
16.
days. Yes, indeed. I remember you mentioned about that. It's very good. It's kind of a really pleasant thing. First optional dungeon, Cave of Grinding a Low-Level Loot. I suppose it might be something like that. That could be the title.
First optional dungeon, Cave of Grinding and Low-Level Loot.
I'm going to be making this very much kind of a different sort of experience to most RPGs, so we're going to be seeing how it goes. But the dungeon idea, at least, it's a cave. It's this sort of like a very rocky cave, kind of brown rockish. There's some goblins around them if you want to find them. It's hard, by the way, but you know, you start going to an inn, I mean like a well. You go from a well down the well, and then you see this sort of cave system over there. So we're going to be making this kind of unease, but then you still somewhat kind of a cave-ish, familiar-ish sort of tune. Let's see how that goes. Wish us luck. Let us start doing the whole thing right away. Alright, let us begin. That's actually pretty lovely from you. I'm actually very sad. My dog actually started like, you know, you can see from the animal that, you know, she wants out. She wants me to take her out right now, you know, just to kind of go walking outside. But I need you to stream. Kind of a sad thing because I like going outside with the dog. But, well, unfortunately need to be doing this first. So we are putting some first whole bars in here. Hopefully you can see those coming to action. Yes, you can. Let us begin, shall we? Dungeon music. We shall see how it goes. We're going to be starting with midis and then moving forwards. Of course, if you have gladly I have others to take care of the pet. So of course, if I would be the sole owner and there would be nobody around, of course I would take her out. But gladly there's someone else that can do it right now. But yes, you have to take care of your pet. You know that. That's very important. Very important indeed. Let's start with some percussions. Hopefully that's going to lead us to the way we want it to go. I would like to make it kind of a water dripping sound coming from the ceiling sort of fashion for it. The music system in the game I'm currently making is it's a bit different. There's going to be kind of like when you enter a place, it has this sort of like an entry piece, and then there's going to be looping pieces afterwards. At least, right? That's the current implementation. Going to be, of course, seeing is that how that one functions, but usually that is how it goes. So MIDI instruments. Let's see how it feels. I haven't played any RPGs with lovely dungeons. I did not like dungeons in some Final Fantasy games, like Final Fantasy 13, and there was this other dungeon game. What was it about? Anyways, there are many dungeons.
PBSA.
I think like Skyrim dungeons were
and
pretty
he is doing
easy.
better. Had to take a vaccine to help with his vomiting. Bean he needs to be force feed and see if he doesn't drink too much water.
Oh man, that's a very harsh time for a pet. Those sort of last years. But of course, taking care of the pet, like still even in that condition, it is what needs to be done, taken care of, because of course they are family members. But sometimes, you know, I don't know, in some countries the cost is actually quite huge, to take pets, but still you have to, of course, take care of them. They are still living beings. You are taking care of them, so of course. So so it's and then like this. Let's try something like that. It could make a lovely kind of beginning tune. Yeah, let's make it a little slow.
I'm doing fine. I'm in a
Very happy to
process
hear.
of writing an essay as a school work.
School essays! Oh. I was never really... well, I suppose I was alright with the essays. Depends on the subject. I really like history and... of course, I don't know, is it America and the same thing, but in Finland we have like all religions dumped together as a one class called religion classes. And it was interesting to hear about and study world religions. You know, it was interesting. And psychology, I suppose. But history is one of the most interesting subjects to me. What subject do you study yourself? Let me know. Yeah, in Finland some of the schools have already kind of opened, which is actually pretty interesting. Is it going to be that we are going to have like another sort of, you know, just spreading session? I don't know. Hopefully not. I actually played, by the way, man, this is, I'm very sad about actually. I tried to actually played this game called Fortnite, first ever in my life, and I'm going to be playing it in the weekends more, because yes, of course. But actually, I promised to someone to try it out, and I tried it, and I first won the whole thing. You know, the Fortnite is this game, you know, battle royale and 100 people in the same spot. I'm so sad I did not film it, because I was just like, man, I'm winning this whole thing.
The music sounds pretty
I'm very
nice.
happy. We're gonna be making it actually a bit quicker. But yes, I'm very sad about that, because I first time legitimately like just took it on and won the whole thing, 100 people against, and yes, I hopefully we'll have similar luck in the streams. I probably know I'm not going to have that, but we shall see. didn't even know how to build things, you know, after winning that whole thing. But still, I knew how to use guns, so that's good. That's good. And let's see how this goes. This is the idea, at least. Something like this. We shall listen how it works. It might be bad, it might be good, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I like the sound of the MIDI bell. You know, it's simple, but still. Actually, yeah, okay, this is the idea. And then... And then... So that's the idea. We shall see how it goes. So 4 taps, some melody, this sort of like kind of, you know, alien feel, but still kind of familiar. It has to be. That's the idea. That is the idea. How are you working on the writing piece? Sorry for being quiet while I'm just like focusing on this whole thing in the beginning, because beginnings are always very important when you start the composition's whole thing. Let me know if you have any ideas for what sort of thing should be in the track, because in the dungeon essentially there's it's just kind of a tunnel basically, and some water that is kind of from this drained well, sort of. Because of course in the period you start in, the well is going to have not much water at all because it's drained. But of course gladly the village has another water source, so that's not too important for them. But you know, at one point in its life cycle, in a different period of the time, the whole dungeon is going to be full of water, and that sort of thing. But at least when you go there first time, if you start the game, it should not have water at all there. That's the idea. And it's more dangerous when it has the water, and that's the sort of gist of it. Yes, indeed. Oh? Oh, something happened? What could happen with MIDI instruments, I wonder? Something was weird about that. That isn't how it's supposed to play. Yeah. It isn't. It doesn't work yet. Let me try to fix it. This is the melody of the bells. I think it could work. It could work. Let's put it there and let's begin. That's the melody we start with. This sort of like
16.
And others in.
As soon as I typed about writing, my computer went man. I need an update. Like right now, and then it shut off and proceeded to update.
Ah, is it like the Windows updates? I personally turn those off because they make your computer slower in the long term. Because while they might help you, and actually haven't really noticed any help from them ever, but the thing is, like the machine updates,
PBSA.
your
And
hardware
now I
doesn't
am on my
update,
PC.
but
Was my phone
the whole
because of
thing
my cat
updates.
catching a bit of sun.
Oh, and my PC was my phone because my cat. Oh, yeah. Of course. Yes, it's very lovely that you give that
16.
sort of moment for.
Yeah, Windows Update.
Yeah, Windows Update. I personally have put those off, and it's actually a harder process than you might think, because you have to actually go to the Windows whole settings, which are not really customer easy to find sort of fashion. Something like this. But anyway, so they're hard to find, and the idea is that your hardware is always the same if you don't update it, but the updates change the system. So in that terms, they slow your computer down, and that's why I've never taken updates personally after a period, because the thing is, I don't really have ever seen them actually be useful. Yes, that's just my point of view. I've seen past times I've tried to take updates, and they've always destroyed my computer. So I'm not really happy about that, and that's why I've not really taken those, indeed. I personally would recommend for others to do the same and try to disable them, because I have not seen ever them to actually make the computer break if you don't install the updates. But of course, do research on your own. Do research on your own.
Mine is also asking for updates, but I can update without having to reboot the PC, because it's a Linux.
Ah, yeah, Linux might have a better updates. I don't really like the sort of the Windows updates. Yeah,
16.
They're kind of
Lucky you.
Linux, lucky bastard. I need to still use this goddamn Windows. So let me put some rhythms over here, and I think I'm going to be actually making what's the perfect sound for this. There's this one percussion we could use, and it would make this awesome. It's the triangle. Yes, if you know triangle, this sort of like triangle shaped metal piece, we could actually put it here and make it sound lovely. Yeah. So it's like let me put it like in like this sort of pattern, so it's kind of interesting, sort of. It isn't something you can just imagine right off the bat. Sort of like yeah, like that, and then the same in here. I actually need to fix that. But anyways, we're going to be adding some triangle things over here. Yeah, Linux I've heard is good, but I've not used it before myself, so I cannot really say. Windows is good, but I really don't trust Windows too much, to be honest, because the thing is, they want to sell you another computer, and I'm not really interested on taking another computer in a long time. I want to use this computer as long as I'm able to do it, and I've been doing my actions to actually do just that, because otherwise you're going to be just have a computer that is going to be just the updates are going to drain your resources of the computer, and then it's going to die out. I've had a few computers do that, but this is gladly one that have been going for a nice while. Of course, you have to, maintain your computer. I always maintain it around like 3 months. I do some fixing on. Then actually, you have to fix and go and do some. What's the dirt? No, not the dirt, but what's the pöly? Pöly. What is the pöly? Actually put that in here, but like there are a lot of these sort of dust. Yes, there's a lot of dust in the computers, with the propellers, and they take the dust in. You have to of course take that out. I'm not a computer expert, but that's what I've noticed. That helps the computers quite lovely actually. So I would recommend looking into that. Yes, increasing the lifespan of the computer that you already have. Indeed, I would do that if I were you. Here we go. Let's see how this goes. Perhaps it's too regular. We have to have it not that. But like this has to be somewhat like not that intimidating. Yes, it has to be somewhat intimidating, but not much. I like that. Actually, okay, that's how I'm going to do it. Like like that sort of fashion. Let's see how it goes.
But as someone that have a nice experience on repairing PC, I recommend having Windows Update always on, but you can choose to update certain package while others not.
Of course, you might be right on that. Very much true. Personally, I don't know. Personally, I've just seen my computer. Like I previously installed like every single update for my last computer, and it slowed down. It just normal function slowed down and then it died. But with this one, I've not done that much of it, and it's just the same. I haven't really needed to repair it at all actually. So I'm very happy on that. Of course, I've done some other measures as well, but I've no information on this. Like, is Linux in itself? Does it have that sort of problems in itself? I don't know. So you know some repairing experience? Oh, very nice. I'm a very novice in that, I tell you. I kind of like this. And then I'm going to be adding a string over here. Let's begin and continue the process. Do you like the melody already, or do you think it needs some improving? Let me know. So the idea is like, oh, this is the music box.
PBSA. Priority are drivers and security updates, so the components are always working at peak performance and security, so it have some exploiter.
Yeah, securities, of course. I always do those, otherwise otherwise your computer is going to be...
Some security exploit patched and become safer.
Yeah, that's the true thing. That's one of the things I always do put, like the safety things, because otherwise, yeah, there's some exploits you can get. Others can get to your computer, and that's not good. You need to be prepared to defend yourself and your computers. My friends actually have very big malware attacks, and that's not very good. No, not at all. So let's make this kind of a detail over here. P. So it's loud first. So idea is that we have violins over here, as you can see visually. It starts with loud, then it goes all the time just quieter. Of course, you can do other type of marking in this, but for just the program's sake, I think it's much more easier. It's kind of much more listenable, easy to be heard sort of fashion. So that's why I'm doing this. Of course, if you would like to use this yourself, of course, use crescendos to do that. But like that's much more visually better looking, but this one is for the computer much more easier to handle, as like, you know, you don't do this PPPs all the time, but kind of I've noticed it to actually work, so that's why I'm using it that sort of fashion. What do you have any favorite dungeon music that you listen to? This sort of background tunes. I've actually, you know, listening Daggerfall soundtrack. There are actually some lovely tunes in there. I do have to tell you, for the dungeons, making this atmosphere on there. Yeah, like that is the idea. So the thing is, then we have a drum that is timpani, no key with a key. Let's say put it like there. We have a timpani. Let's put it midi as well. So it's going to be like toom toom toom, and then it looks like just like this.
PBSA. Linux never becomes slower with updates, in case it can become faster with the drivers updates that end increasing the performance of one of the components.
That is actually very good. I need to have Linux at some point, man. I need to. For all my friends, and they said like Linux is the life. Linux is the way. You have to find Linux to understand it. But yeah, I haven't really got in there yet. I'm a novice. Like my family and I used to just purchase some computers from the supermarket, which is not the best way to really do it. You should always build it yourself, and then I later started building these myself and such, and It just yeah, I was like a peasant when it came to computers. I'm still a kind of a peasant when it comes to computers. I can do only limited things, but I can do something, and that's what computers should do, right? Yeah, I suppose. So our dungeon theme is evolving into something
16.
else.
Join the cult of Linux.
Cult of Linux, oh man. Where do I sign up? Of course, you need kind of a payroll to do that much more. And I already have a computer that I invested into, so I'm going to be using this first. That's the idea. I suppose you could say, like, romanticize it and say, oh, he preserves nature, but I tell you, like, I'm just like, I don't have money to purchase that goddamn computer part, like, because computers actually cost quite a lot, and they are not that costly, I know, but it's not just an expense. I can just like, if you have already a working car, why try to change them? Of course, there are Rolls Royces out there that, you know, some say are actually much more lovelier, and they have some charisma added value there as well, you know.
PBSA. I can give a crash course on Linux, or you can make a stream where you learn how to use Linux.
Hey, that would be cool. Yeah, let me actually put that to a list of topics that we could actually make streams about. Actually, if you have any ideas, let me know, because I was actually suggested some good topics many times. PBSA, so let me put it right there. I was actually suggested to make these like how to become composer things, and I think people are interested to see more of that. At least I got some good feedback. So Linux course, who knows? Linux for dummies, that could be actually fun. Yeah, let's do Linux for dummies. Yeah, I'm actually gonna put that name over here. That's a name. That's a name. Linux for dummies. It's good to have like the different sort of topics on streaming. I do want to do that, man. Linux. What is that? What are the main things when it comes to Linux and the computers that come with that? Like Finnish army has actually changing the computers to like this is not even I don't know is it I suppose, yeah. So like many people change their computers to different ones to get more safety in there. Yes, indeed. That's what they do. That's what they do. You actually need to be putting a little bit. That's the idea. So we have a song over here that is sort of dungeon feeling. There's going to be like basic RPG animals over there, down there. Rats, of course, is a fine one. And actually, rat is a very usual thing that can be found. Moles, rats, and so forth. I'm going to be just making so that they are not just attacking you. They actually are. Many of these are going to flee you because, of course, they are small animals. Of course, with higher numbers, they're going to come and slay you. But with smaller numbers, not so much. Indeed.
PBSA. First, you have an OS that is free and open source. Because of being open source, it end up being safer because anyone can fix a security problem without having to install a billion of software.
Well, that is excellent. Much better than Windows, then, you know, by a mile, I tell you. That already fixes many of my problems, you know, not just having these other programs to help me out on that, yeah. Nice. And then we continue. So, pretty simple. I actually need to make it sound much more menacing. I tell you, it's not really menacing at all. It's actually quite simple. We have 35 seconds of music made, so that is something good. But also there are some problems. One of them is that this part is very empty, as you could hear. Like there's just nothing in here. I'm actually wanting to start the song with kind of without too much hassle, but in here we actually need some instruments here, so we're going to be actually adding those. What else we could put here? I suppose bassoon is going to be like a good background stuff, and then we could actually put a piano in here, keyboard, acoustic one, and see how that works. So let's add bassoon. And then like that, giving you this sort of atmosphere and so forth. By the way, what was the topic S16 you mentioned you do this essay for? Let me know. Let me know. I think you, but did you mention it?
PBSA. One Windows exploit that have never been fixes. You can change the password with only the installation disk /pen drive. While on Linux that is not possible, if you don't know the pass, only hacking.
Oh man. So does it mean if somebody has the installation disk, put the disk there, then hacked essentially? Man, so anyone can physically come and take your computer, but can they do it kind of online, sort of like, I don't know. Huh? And let's put more stuff in there. Let's put some like piano chords. So let's put piano chords in there at the same time. Something like that. So we have a dungeon tune made in MIDI, very simple, but we're going to be, of course, increasing some detail there. I'm going to be making it 1 minute, but of course much more complex later on. We're going to be seeing how it trials with better instruments and so forth when we expand it and so forth. Indeed, that is the plan. And dungeons, usually dungeons, I don't know actually what the kind of meaning of the dungeon is. Like, of course, Dungeons and Dragons, that sort of card game. I don't know what is the background for using the word dungeon to implement this sort of area that is kind of dangerous and has many enemies and has a layout and such. In Dungeons and Dragons, there's like maps of dungeons, and you know, people first go to the dungeon, and then the adventure, like the challenging part, really begins. You use the spells, find the enemy, fight the enemies. I don't know where originally it really comes from, the term, though. So perhaps it's like and then we put it octave up there.
PBSA. Yes, Bean, you need to be there physically. Doing via the internet, I don't know if it will work or not, so someone can make a prank with this, or royalty screw someone.
I suppose, yeah. So if someone can steal your computer, they can take all the stuff there, you know, of course. That is kind of already a lost computer when someone steals it, so I suppose, well, I don't know. It is kind of a safety risk, of course. But yes, how do you have so much information of computers? Let me actually know. Have you done this, of course, for your own computers? Of course, you are Linux users. Usually, Linux users they have the, let's just say, they have sharper pens than most of us. At least that's what I've also heard from my friends. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really. Some people say like PC elitist or something, but I don't know. PC is kind of lovely to use, easy to use, and that's why so many people just are getting that path. You mentioned something virtual, kind of. You could have a virtual Linux in a Windows, I suppose. Or is that still a kind of a risk for your
PBSA? Did 2 course about computer. The first one I learn about this.
And then and let's put this one in many octaves down. Here we go. This doesn't really sound good at all. I need to have this sort of like there's something that is quite wrong with this. Quite wrong. Let me fix some things over here. Let me put like 5. So the idea is that this is kind of a build-it part, but I have no idea how it does sound in the end, because these are not the sounds we're going to be using in the end. Okay, so we have something, but then we of course have to have the other beginning. So we have to have and then back it goes. One thing here, we need to actually have the drum much more aggressive. So it's going to be getting to the computer courses. Nice. Is it like a school course or like a what sort of course is that? Where can you find those?
Install Linux on a virtual machine. So if you can do mistakes and not having the problem of destroying your PC, it's also good to test if an antivirus is good or not.
Install Linux on a virtual machine, so if you can do mistakes and not having the problem of destroying your PC, it's also good to test if an antivirus is good or not. I see. I personally don't have a very good antivirus. I'm going to be, of course, I'm using it, and that's a given thing. But yes, that might be good if you wanted to check that out. What is the best? It's sort of interesting the idea that humans made machines and soon you could find viruses made in them. Like it's kind of like naturally, just like humans could have built a perfect system, but it always viruses just come in, and then it's constant battle against viruses in this. Like it's interesting about we made our own system, and then it even has viruses. It even has this sort of like sicknesses of computers. It's interesting. Very interesting, looking at how humans behave.
PBSA. B is a good idea to have a virtual machine inside the virtual machine. Some virus can pass through the virtual machine safety of virtual hardware to the main hardware.
That doesn't sound good at all. So that is huge. Hey, Zabek, how are you doing? I saw your brother here just a moment ago. I don't know. He might be here or might not. Well, good to see you. Good to see you, Zabek. Polish friend of mine. Good to see you. How are you doing? We are doing currently some lovely streaming when it comes to music. Indeed, some Dungeons and Dragons are not kind of, I don't know, a bit far of this, because this is going to be kind of a simple dungeon. It's kind of the premise of it. Sort of very simple, and it's going to be kind of having this sort of familiar sense of it. What are your familiar dungeons in other games? Let me know, my friend Zabek. Indeed so. Today is going to be, after this stream, I'm going to be doing some, of course, taking my dog out, but at the same time going to the strawberry field and clean that up, because I want to get some strawberries this summer. And usually we don't have a chance to really do that because
Zebek.
we are, of course,
He's
working.
doing something to the school and he listening to your stream in the background.
Ah, very cool. Of course, he said some kind of a paper, school paper or something. Good luck with him, of course. Good luck with that. School papers are never... I suppose, sometimes they are useful,
I think
to kind
it's
of
the more
put
law you
information in
talk
there and think
about.
about it.
If you tell someone not to do something, they will do that.
I suppose more the law, but it could be more just like a human nature of things. Like nobody really told someone to do viruses, but they still did it. Like it's just like a, of course somebody do that they can do that. They do it because of that, or they just do to kind of tease people and bully people, or
16.
they do it for the money. I. Good luck, my friend. Good luck, my fellow 16. But now, let's go and see how this goes over here on this side. We're doing some dungeon stuff. Yes. There has to be inconsistencies, because then it kind of makes people unnerved. It is too like a focus it's but perhaps the idea is to make it kind of simple, not too intimidating. But I think with the drums we need to make it like 2 2 2, and then 2 2 2 2, and then this sort of fashion, 2 2 2, sort of like this. So it's kind of inconsistent, all in the board sort of fashion. We shall see how it works. It could potentially ruin this, who knows? We shall see. But inconsistencies, they actually help with this. And let's put this in the last one part of it. Yeah, like this. I like it. Now it's actually much better. And then the penultimate moment. We have around 40 seconds of music when we come to this point. So very good indeed. So now we actually go boom, 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 sort of fashion. Let's do it. Let's do it, my friends. Let's see how far we can go in this world of music. I personally, when it comes to dungeons, some dungeon designs, Dark Souls had a good dungeon design. I like it. Could you call them dungeons? Are they like the environment? The whole game is kind of like dungeon. In some games, dungeons are just like full closed areas that have these certain sort of attributes for them. But in of course, Dark Souls, like the whole game is kind of like a dungeon. You could really see that. I think that is true.
PBSA. The first course was a school one that had more real-life practice than a normal school course, and the 2NC was a course with Master D. You learn the stuff at your pace and they are very helpful.
First course was
Wispy
school.
whiskers.
Yeah, but the computer
I
things.
think the strings
Very
should
good
be
that
less
there's kind of
accentuated.
independent learning on that, because that's the best way to learn. Hey, Wispy Whiskers, we have 16, we have Zabek, all these people. By the way, I forgot to ask Zabek how he's doing. I was very rude. How are you doing, Wispy Whiskers, yourself? I think the strings should be less accentuated, and of course, when we go and look at the words themselves, acquainted. I suppose you mean like mean this spot. I don't know what the word really means. Let me actually put it in here. Here we go. Acquainted and korostunut. I suppose, but I do like the effect because then it it goes dark and up and dark and dark, and then it kind of gets part of the song. Then it's going to be having this sort of triple effect. Hopefully that's the idea. But of course we're going to be testing that out and seeing how it goes. But I would like to keep it like this, because the thing is, let's just listen to it a little bit. Of course it's MIDI. It might sound better or worse when we turn it to something else. Indeed, who knows? Whoever knows? Like, this is just a test of effort. we shall see, does it work and function? Do you mean by these? Yeah, for some reason there's a lot of these P's in there. Like, let's say, here we go. There are too many P's. Indeed. Now it's less. Let me know what in detail you mean by the accentuated in itself. But at least we shall going to continue. Let's see how it goes. Sort of fashion.
Wispy whiskers. Not much. Studying for entrance exams.
Entrance exams, oh, for university, I suppose. What sort of entrance exam you got in mind? My friends, some of university entrance exams for coding, of course. Video games and coding might be a very good area to go to. He's a very good coder and does some artwork. Hopefully working with us with Final Fantasy. We shall see. He has done only a few things, but it's because just I haven't really given him a job because I need to do the systems first. But I can get you. You know, it takes time to study exams and such. I personally am not going to go, like my friends are saying, you know, you should go to university, really focus on that. I suppose, but in some countries, of course, in Finland, it's a good thing to kind of save it before going to university because it costs quite a lot. And I don't want to get in any debt whatsoever. I'm trying to be debt-free completely because it's a slave-meant sort of shackle on your head. I'm very happy that I'm not able to. I'm possible to have no debt at all. But you know, I think I wouldn't get debt if I would go to thing, but I wouldn't be able to finish some project I'm currently working on, which I really want to work on right now. So once those are finished, I'm going to be thinking about university at least. But you know, not the university I was originally thinking about, the music stuff. There was this one big university in Helsinki that I was originally interested in, but then I heard what's it really about, then I really lost it. But what is the entrance exam you're studying, my friend? Of course, I'm not saying the schools are all bad, but from what I've seen, some of the ones for music composing... kind of like a very hard hitting sort of like, let me actually see, it's kind of hard hitting.
PBSA.
Sort of like this, who knows, we shall see.
Going back to virus, if someone write a batch script that only have shutdown on it, it will be classified as a virus, because it shut down your PC without you wanting that.
Ah, so that is the definition of it. Interesting, so you're talking about computer viruses, indeed. Computer viruses, quite nasty sort of subject, and of course, very serious in modern times because so many. I don't really get why, because we already were functional beforehand. Why do we need to put all the systems in electronic format? Like, let's say all the hospitals have to have electronic formats, everything. Of course, you know, that one might help if you have like medical records, but some like factories.
Wispy whiskers.
It's just like,
domestic
you know, please
languages
hit me
and
here,
literature.
sort of, you could put a sign.
Fortunately,
like,
I'm in a
"Please hit me here with
position
a
where
virus."
I can study without incurring debt.
Ah, domestic languages and literature. Fortunately, I'm in a position where I can study them.
Zabek.
Very good,
In
my friend.
Poland, we have popular virus Papizak.
Papizak. Papizac. What is Papizac? That doesn't sound nice. I know some like computer viruses that are like I love you and these sort of like classical ones, but I don't know any much others. Of course, the shutdown viruses, nasty. There's some that, you know, the screen sharing ones that, you know, you can kind of steal and like spy on people. Those are, I think, the most common ones because, of course, easier to put unnoticed. There's some data mining ones that, you know, you can mine Bitcoin with other computers, you know, using their data and their RAM and these sort of things for that. At least, I don't know. I don't know how lucrative that is, but of course Bitcoin price has been going up. I've tried to purchase that, but then I need to, if I would need to purchase Bitcoin, I would need to use some other service, and I don't even know what is the best way for that, because otherwise I need to sign up to some random bank in somewhere online.
It play Jan Paul 2 music and show nude Pope image on desktop face with tears of joy.
What the hell? Pope image? Oh, I don't want to see that. Oh man, I don't want to see that. That's even fate worse than death. Oh man, that is oh please. Someone has a really bad taste, I tell you, when they do this fire. And then yeah, I don't really want to see that sort of virus. I don't really go like what sort of minds invent these sort of monstrosities. I tell you, one of the most dangerous kind of things in this world are like nerds that are vengeful, because in social life they are very having bad time. In like a physical side they are having bad time, but in computer side they can rule everything. They're the most dangerous human beings on this earth, you know, potentially. The last part needs some more, of course. That's what we are up here for. Thanks, of course. Yeah, very, very true. What sort of things we should put here is the question of the day that I ask you, the dear viewer. If you have any ideas, let me know. Because currently, I have some instrument. I think I should be putting something else here at the same time. Something that could just work. Let's see, metal instrument. I think some sort of a drum. No, I suppose.
Why there's is translating right up corner. PBSA.
Ah yes, I had the.
It's easier and faster to get everything done and documented, and with good security process it can become harder to have your data stolen.
It's easier and faster to get everything done and documented, and with good security process you can hard drive. Yes, nowadays it's much more easier to defend your machine. Of course, there's some services that sell that sort of defending these things. I sort of use some, but of course you can do some preventive measures by yourself. It's good to use different systems, different defensive methods, like building a wall around your city, but of course having archer towers, and of course the boiling oil. That is a good one you have to have over your gate, so you can just like
Zebek. Buffering.
Yes, not back to, you know, we had the translator just to check a word that was said by Wispy Whiskers, which I didn't know, and now I actually know it, and it is called accentuated, kind of like yeah, accentuated. Yeah, good to know some words. Now let's go back to the song. Let's put some things over here and see how they would go. So then we have to put it like. Sort of like this. I'm going to be using this kind of like a repeating rhythm in the beginning before anything starts. That's the idea. It could be interesting. We shall see how it goes. If any ideas on the song, let me know. Currently, this is going to be our very theme for the beginning area of Final Fallacy under the whole place. That's the idea. We shall see are we actually able to make that so. But that is the whole thing about this track. Where is this? Where is the whole thing? Is it like this? Here we go. Got it. So there's some many different themes in the game, of course, but this is kind of the beginning, sort of like it's kind of familiar, but at the same time it has this danger in there, of course. And I have an idea of this sort of repeating
Whiskey
pattern.
Whiskers.
Hopefully it's going to be some
That
function.
virus reminds me of Save the Cat by Blake Sider. It speaks about bizarre, memorable moments like Pope in the pool.
Save the cat? I don't really get these viruses. What are they like? Some viruses I know they get money from people, but this is like, you know, just making fun of people. I don't know what is the sort of the idea of some viruses that they do. Is it like as I said, nerds are one of the most dangerous class they are in modern world. I tell you, in the past they could not, but now they have unlimited power on their hands if they just dedicate their time. So it's like dun, 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 and then and do. Sort of like this. These are the ones we're going to be using. It has to have some kind of familiar
Whiskers.
themes at the same time.
Simply
as
put,
it's not.
it's for the lols.
It's for the lols. Of course, you need to have that. Otherwise, what would be life without? You know, that's the thing. That's the thing. Because I just can. I do that because I can. I destroy your computers because I can. That's how they do. It's kind of pitiful, but you know, some people have to have fun about something. But I personally, I've seen some of my friends, you know, being under this sort of attack, and it's actually quite pathetic if some people do this. On my mind, of course, if they are kind of harmless viruses, I suppose, but it's kind of, you know, some viruses are made to target normal folk, you know, and some viruses are made to target like big factories and big people.
Are you going to buy grease screen?
Actually, I've tried to order one in Finland, but I need to order one from outside of the country if I have the proper grease screen. Of course, I could have like just a kind of linen there, and which was kind of green, but we're gonna be using this background for some while, of course. Of course, donations, wink wink, help with eluukkanen and getting some stuff, but of course I am constantly getting some new things. I'm planning a microphone for piano, because I would like to actually do some piano live streams, play some piano and do that sort of stuff, but I have to plan some of that beforehand. Because of course, you know, there's only a limit you can go and be and watch eluukkanen in front of computer all the time. You know, there's a limit for that, of course. You cannot just all the time do that. There's some kind of a barrier that if you just cross it, it becomes too mundane, and that's why you need to shake things up. That's what we're doing here.
Zabek. K.
K. Oh, that's the wrong K. Yeah. Oh my, that was just a yeah. That's not the K I meant. Yeah. Oh man. And then
PBSA. And those virus you talk about are called spyware. Spies on you and can stole your data. Phishing tries to get you to click so you get a malware or a somewhere.
yeah, ransomwares are the nastiest. You know, like pay money or you will get everything deleted. That's why I have many hard drives of even the things I have. Yes, all around the place. No, really, just some hard drives over there. But still, nobody can take them. Even if a malware attack comes, I'm not going to pay any dime, I tell you. No, whatsoever. Nada. Of course, it's going to be still a kind of a backlash whatsoever. We're still a backlash, but still. Anyways, let's save. That's a good thing. That's a good trick. Let's save the whole thing and then continue an adventure while we are at it. There's some lovely goings on it. I want to have that sort of, you know, as you know, this is sort of like ding, 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 because it kind of reflects how it is kind of a very beginning area-ish. I don't want to make it too dark. That's the thing. Because it would be, if it would be too dark, there would be people would be get scared. Oh, is this the game I was supposed to play? But perhaps on the other hand, it would be hardcore to have a very dark dungeon, very difficult dungeon in the beginning. Who knows? Dirt Cave. This is going to be the product name, at least in here in the beginning. And it's saving. Let us see how it goes afterwards. Now it is saved. Good. Let's continue our adventure. Let's see what we currently have. I kind of like that. We have to see, does it actually function with other systems on top of it? Who knows? It might not. Let's see how it functions.
PBSA.
Kind of takes from the melody.
Malware makes your PC slower and can delete some files. Ransomware will pay Bitcoin to this anon address so you can have all your stuff back. PBSA. On some, if you take too much time, it will delete some data or rank up to price or both at the same time.
Nasty, but that's how they roll. Always the nastier the better. That's what they do. Nastier the better. That's how they roll. And they're criminals. Stop right there, criminal scum. Your stolen goods will be forbidden. Yeah, I just love the Oblivion Guard, the voices. Oh yes. Oblivion Guards, the most best out there. Always ready to keen and without. Could they actually be bribed? I don't know. I don't like law officials being bribed. I know that in some countries it's more common. In Finland, actually, it's not. It's very hard to get and bribe some officials. At least right now, we have had a very positively good police force. I don't know that some countries might have better police force. Some countries might not. In Finland, it's very good. Okay, so the idea is. I want to combine these, but I don't know. How to do it. So perhaps we should always actually say, okay. I want to combine these together because it would actually make an interesting soundscape. But then we would need to put like in this, yeah. But very good that you know about, it's very good information to know because, you might find yourself in this sort of situation that your computer is stolen and start, yeah.
I had virus one time and it open Notepad and start typing I must do $40 to recover my files.
That is a ransomware, suppose. That's a very nasty.
Wispy whiskers.
Very nasty.
That melody could work if it's played in rest areas in the dungeon. The darker tunes fade out and this one kicks in, without changing the beat.
I actually like that
but
sort of idea.
But when in recovered system everything was okay.
Alright, so it just kind of tried to lure you. Some systems they do that, but some actually do delete the stuff you got. So yeah, actually that's a good idea, Wispy Whiskers. Let's do it. So let's take it away. We could actually do mixes. Yeah, hey, actually, okay, that's a good idea. So let's make a mix of music, like versions, and we could make it like in larger areas. It plays with this, and in sometimes it does not. Yes, I like it. Let's listen in the beginning. So the thing is, I'm going to be actually saving this without the... I'm going to be just putting like a mute for it, so no one can hear it. It's in the darkness, indeed. Let's open another instrument that is going to be a horn sort of instrument, and we're going to be using it for in the background of a third part. Indeed, indeed. So we are doing some progress, ladies and gentlemen. We are going forward. Let's take tuba. Tuba is a very good one when it comes to dungeons. I suppose it can have this sort of background sort of idea. Glad you didn't lose some stuff, Zabek. Very good that you actually be able to recover that thing, because you know, you could sometimes lose stuff.
A good antivirus that I use is Avast antivirus, if is free. Being the Microsoft Defender and Norton antivirus are also pretty good.
They are good.
And Malwarebytes is a good antimalware, if is also free.
I use some paid ones,
Whiskers.
which I haven't actually had.
The idea was that most other tracks fade out as this kicks in.
How could it so? So the idea is the most of the tracks. Yeah. So the idea is that, you know, when you go to certain pause like. Then you just hear the sort of like a happy melody, and then when you go to the darker places, yeah, I actually like that. We're going to be trying that, you know. We shall see how it goes. But I'm going to be doing some background stuff over here. Background stuff. We shall see.
Avast antivirus updated virus data.
Updated virus data? What you mean by that? There are some good ones I've seen. Norton, F-Secure, all this sort of stuff. Some of them are more aggressive, some of them are not.
This alert is so fucky loud. Wispy whiskers. I use Komodo. I've never had a virus in my life.
Yeah, me neither. I'm very happy about that. I'm personally very happy. Yeah, very good to like really have a secure one. I'm very lucky to have a secure one that hasn't really given me any problems. But at the same time, sometimes it actually doesn't let me open some programs because of course it's for my safety. But you know, then they're just like, man, those are just games. They're just games. You know, it didn't let me open Skyrim for some reason. When I used F-Secure, it didn't let me open it. And I need to really do some setup in order to really play Skyrim. I was like, what is going on? But yeah, some of these are, as you say, is a bit kind of annoying. But you know, they are for your safety. If it's very, you know, in a good way. It's good to have some safety in the files because, of course, they are worth something for you, and that's what matters. Actually, this could be an interesting one. We shall see. We shall see.
PBSA. Every antivirus updates their virus data pretty commonly, so new virus don't pass by as safe programs.
It's very good that they do it, otherwise you would have problems from these viruses. I don't know what is the most common way to get viruses. Are they just like, you know, you go to these websites, you see these like pop-up ads, oh, the best like the best naughtiest games or something like that. I've seen so many of these, and I'm just saying, like, they're getting crazy and crazy, and I don't know who clicks these sort of things. Are these the places where people get viruses, or is it just from the files they download from some places? I have no idea. I've had, you know, some virus tried to come from some things that I tried to download. Gladly, my virus program noticed that, and they just destroy them to the gulags with you. You know, some of my trash can is actually named a gulag, indeed, you know, because the files you take them to gulag and they're never heard from again. You know, some of them actually are recovered, but only rarely, in rare instances.
Wispy whiskers. The antivirus they have pre-installed is never good. When I get a new computer, I always delete it and install a good one.
Yeah, that's what I do as well. They try to give me the Norton one, which I like, not really good. Doesn't really like. Personally, yeah, you have to find a good one for yourself. Ones that actually have quality and less risks and such. Some are the most common ones must be more riskier because then the virus creators know them and know this sort of loopholes they have. Constant cat and mouse game, yes indeed. And then something like this. So this is the theme over here, the dark theme.
This is Sibelius.
Sibelius Multihawk from Twitchland. Hello there, whoever you are watching. We are doing a dungeon theme for the game we are creating. The dungeon that is, you know, you go from a well down there.
Why don't you use Auto Performer?
We are doing, we can use Auto Performer of course afterwards. I do like it. However, I'm using currently MIDI ones to just get things easier. Then we have this sort of like a home makeover effect that we just put the Note Performer and then everything sounds lovely. Indeed. It's like a mystery. Note Performer is this very lovely program. If you are a music creator, very much recommend to use it. Actually got suggested to have it. So I have to suggest it to others as well. It's a very lovely one.
Yeah,
Lord
Zebu sounds very good.
Hello there.
Lord
have I seen you in the street before? Hello there.
PBSA. There was a time I had a virus with 507.
507.
There was no virus average or Kaspersky. Can't remember what was the name of it, and the said the game I bought on a store, so the antivirus was failing.
Ah, so it's gonna, you know, get past that because of the we are currently having a discussion of antivirus programs, and there's some slicky ones that, you know, gonna get past the program detection, and that seems to be something, you know, you described, PBSA.
Yay, you saw me on Twitch before.
Is that you there? Oh. Oh, the world is small. The world is quite small indeed. So we have how much?
Lord Zembu. Power up, ultra hard power up.
Oh yeah, power up is upon us indeed. We have still 10 seconds to go. What are your ideas, Lord Zembu, of other Zapek and PBSA on what should be used to end part 4? I think if, you know, let's listen from the very beginning and see how it goes. We are not hearing any music. I was just thinking, what am I just listening here? Some random rhythms. No, that's not good. Let's go to the music itself. By the way, what is up with Multihawk? All's going well for you? Let me know. Have you been doing some music stuff?
Aiko C.
Aiko! We have all lovely people joining out this Friday.
PBSA. Ways to get virus. Pirating games. Clicking on ads. So yes, an ad block can be an antivirus. Going on unsafe sites.
Yeah, I've noticed that actually. I use this sort of, not an ad block itself, but this sort of like a, you know, this sort of cookie blocker that, you know, if you go to a site, they try to follow you and get all the data from you, but I'm able to just use powers to block them. That's a very good one. That's a very good one. Then there's of course these browsers that actually help you block them at the same time. But Aiko, what are you doing? I saw your painting on the children book stuff. Very, very good. Very, very good. I'm very excited to see how the process continues. So now we are going to be having
Wispy Whiskers. Wanna see a magic trick?
Oh, what a magic trick? No. No, 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 no. Do you have a control of my computer? Are you going to show something nasty? Don't do it. Don't do it. I thought you were a friend.
Of course. PBSA.
Depends on
And
what
clicking
sort of
on
magic
mails
tricks
that
are
you
there.
don't know from who is, and sometimes from who you know, because their mail got hacked.
Yeah, one of my friends got hacked in the land of Facebook, and they started just posting some stuff, which I like. That's not normal. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 sort of like that. Let's go with that. Here we go. It really depends, you know. They can do these sort of nasty tricks. You have to know what they're doing and arrest them.
ACOC.
Gladly you can really arrest these
Yesterday
people
after
because they're
work,
online
I
and
went
such.
to a park with a girlfriend and a friend. I impressed them with some Finnish language. So proud, grinning face with smiling eyes.
Oh, nice!
Wispy underscore whiskers.
Suomi!
I sent this message twice at the same time, from YouTube and Twitch. Now count the lag. Wispy whiskers.
The lag is...
I sent this message twice at the same time, from YouTube and Twitch. Now
the
count
second
the lag.
second number is in there. Let me actually count that. So it's like 7 milliseconds. No, much bigger. 11 milliseconds. Yeah, 11 milliseconds, ladies and people. 11 milliseconds. If I count it right, yes. Which is pretty good, actually, for the lag. You know, not that huge of a lag. But it seems Twitch is slower. Oh, man. How is this even possible? So the lag is not that bad. Yeah. Depending on, you're, of course, perfectionist.
Zebek. Shelterai, Chilwakat, Chilwadog. ACOC. At a moment, my girlfriend and I were cracking up and decided to hug the trees. She hugged her tree and I hugged mine and said mine rakasta sayua, pui.
Oh man. Oh, now I can see, Zabek, what you posting there. Some cat thingies. Yeah. Cat in a box, cat in another box, and what is the cat? Chill dog. What is that? Is that some kind of a... No, don't say that's a bread. No, don't say that's a bread. Anyways, we have some people watching here. Hopefully you're enjoying your time. We are doing some dungeon music. But hey, Aiko! Yes! Now you can impress your friends with Finnish. That's how Finnish is made for. This sort of like magical language, like, you know, some Elvish language. You just say it and everybody was like, what is that? And then they just like, oh, she or he is cool. Of course, because that's what Elvish language is, of course. And then I'm going to be putting like... So I'm going to be putting... This is going to be the sort of the nasty part of the song. Yes, now we're getting nasty, people. Oh, yeah. That's the topic. But yes, the viruses are very nasty. But I tell you, one of the things that is not nasty is very much... trees and nature and such. Of course, some of you might have been locked on inside quite a long time. Hopefully not any long, or you can actually go outside or somewhat. I personally in countryside, so I can pretty much see trees.
Now I can speak French, English,
I've been actually cutting
Spanish
down
and
trees
a little
because
Finnish.
there's this tree that is... that unfortunately died. It was around 100 years old, but it was almost collapsing on itself, so we had to end it. You know, it was like almost falling in front to a house and such. We had to really take it down. It was nasty because it was over 100 years old, and we all cried because, man, it was a very large tree. We of course got a lot of trees out of it, you know, logs and such. But man, you know, if someone reaches age 100, you don't really want to take it down, you know, but for some reason you have to sometimes, yeah. Now I can speak French, English, Spanish, and little Finnish. Oh yeah.
ACOC.
That is something to be proud of.
And our friend took a picture of us hugging trees.
Very lovely.
PBSA.
Of course, posted to social
There
media.
are multiple types of cookies. Some are bad and is good to have them remove. Others are good to have.
What are the good
so
cookies?
it doesn't show ads about stuff you have zero interest or some data you wanted to
I
step.
personally don't want to see any ads, to be honest. You know, they have to try something much more clever to get my watch the ads. I don't really like these places, you know, the advertisements are such very nauseating. They don't ever get it right. For some reason, they start to suggest me Legos, and I'm just like, I'm not in this demographic, man. Legos are not for me. And then they're still like, take Legos, take Legos, take Legos. I'm like,
Wispy
Why
whiskers.
don't you give me some music
But
programs?
even so, there's a considerable delay between messages. I've concluded it's because of long lag, not of chat, but of video.
I think it's not for the lag itself. It's because of the if you're talking about the text-to-speech stuff, it's from
Multi-hog.
that, I think.
Chocolate chip cookies are pretty
Chocolate
good.
chip cookies, yeah, actually pretty lovely. I mean, we made some, not actually cookies, but chocolate balls just a few days ago. Very, very lovely, very like cocoa and this sort of, yeah, very, very good. Thing is, chocolate chips, of course, real cookies never really go bad, but you know, of course, computer cookies are very different. They are like breadcrumbs. They try to follow your every movement. They try to get your data. And you have to protect yourself. Protect you and your family against the data robbers. Life is getting hard, I tell you. All these nasty things. And why do we have only this? No. And then
Multi-hog. You can't avoid cookies.
you can't
Multi-hog. Like no page works without them.
Some cookies you can like put off. Some cookies you can get. Of course, like watching this page, you have to have YouTube cookies and all these things. Of course, they have to work. But you know. And they have been getting clever also with the you know, they make things not to work if you don't use the cookies. You like take them, or otherwise you cannot use the internet. You know, it's nasty, but that's how it works. They want to get all things out of you. That's how it works. But of course, they have to get paid somehow. I think many of us would be very surprised how what the advertisers know about us.
The delay of text to voice is considerably shorter with Twitch.
Oh, really? So? I didn't know that. Well. I don't know what could actually done to prevent that or make that better. I tell you, I've very limited knowledge on the computer side of things. Of course, PBSA and Wispy Whiskers, you might know a solution for it. I personally have tried to make the connection much better, but of course, I'm in a countryside fashion. As you remember from a few streams ago, many weeks ago, we had connection problems, and essentially things looked awful. But now I've been able to somewhat fix them, but they are not perfect, I tell you. Not perfect in all of the senses. Definitely not. So now we go to the drums.
Multi-hog. Elias is trying to promote his Twitch channel by sabotaging the YouTube side of his text-to-speech.
If I would be that clever, you would see it, but I'm not. I'm not that clever side of things. Who knows? Perhaps I have a hidden agenda. Who knows? We actually had, in the past, these sort of wars that, who's going to win, the viewership of Twitch or viewership of YouTube. And currently, I think YouTube viewers are the victorious. Your army is going strong with numbers, and Twitch is yet to recover from the great plunge that happened long ago. But the historians say that possibly if eluukkanen puts this delay, I haven't really put that, but some say, and of course history is put down by those who win, so who knows.
Spurgilema.
Spurgilema!
Come over to D-Live and avoid both.
Yes, that's the best place, I tell you. D-Live is the coolest place, I tell you. I know some lovely people like Spurgilema and others. And actually, very lovely to see you, Spurgilema. We are doing this dungeon theme for a game we are currently creating. And it's quite a lovely one. Take a look. Or possibly, I still have to work on it. Somewhat. Oh! Of course, D-Live is very nice as well. The only place you can really give ice creams to others, in online place. Very lovely, very lovely. Very lovely indeed. And then the whole crowd joins this thing. And then we're going to be having strings joining that. Strings, come to the jazz. Let's see how it works. Actually, we're going to be putting it like, yeah, this is the best. Okay, now we got it. So we're going to be putting this like, we're going to be actually making it big here. But now let's first actually make it so. So we're currently making a theme. What are your thoughts on this, Spooky Llama? And how is your day going, by the way? That's a good question for people, because I don't sometimes know, and it's lovely to ask. Personally, it is, for me, quite lovely. Actually slept really well today. I actually worked on my game today.
Maybe
to make
the reason why
system.
you get ads about Lego and nothing about music software is because you have every cookie been removed.
That might be the idea. Yeah, that might be the good. So if that's the price I have to pay,
then
I'll pay it.
Snow.
Snow, of course, outside.
I like
snow.
it. I have a nostalgic soft spot for midi.
Midi, yeah, I have the same, man. Midi is the nostalgic gold mine, and I think potentially midi is a very lovely one.
I has no cookie.
I has no cookie, yes. No cookie whatsoever. I cannot eat any chocolate cookies, no peanut butter cookies, no, nothing like that. No. Nothing. All gone. The cookie jar has been taken. But Spooky Llama, yes, midis. I actually have this idea in future, an idea that we could make a composing competition based on midi alone, because I think that's midi is a very common instrument. Everybody can have that, so it could be very easy to determine this sort of competition thing, of course, in a good spirited way. I personally wouldn't participate if I would be running the competition, but I would tell you that midi is a very, very interesting sort of fashion, because it basically is an orchestra but very simplified, and the soundscape, the harp especially with the midi is quite fantastic, I tell you. But now, back to the strings. So we're going to be having third go up. Yeah, it might be very terrifying sound, but that's the idea.
What's up?
Door handle. That's a new name? Have you been before watching some eluukkanen streams? Good to see you.
Last Tuesday it was Hoot. Yesterday when I went out with my friends it was clouds, with a little bit of the sun, and very little rain.
Oh man.
Nice cocktail.
We still have snow outside. Oh, well, actually it's melted down, but I tell you, like almost -Celsius in here. What they in Finnish they say kevätkeikkuen tulevi,
door handle,
which means like
never been here before, just saying hi.
Hey, good door handle, how are you doing? Personally, we're currently making a dungeon music. What are your experiences with dungeons in video games? Are they some that you're gonna just like, oh yes, dungeons are my cup of tea, or are the dungeons something that if someone asks, of course, dungeons is a piece of cake. Yes, indeed. It's like taking a cookie from a child. That's the way of how you see dungeons. Who knows? Perhaps I personally say some dungeons are better than others. I personally like if you go to old Tomb Raider games from PlayStation 1. The dungeons in there were quite lovely. Black Midi Megalovanian strikes the demon down. Yes, indeed. I haven't actually Megalovania. I haven't actually listened to that one. Is that which Megalovania we're talking about? I think there are two pieces of Megalovania. One of them was, if I remember, Undertale. I don't know. I have no idea of all the music stuff there is out there. But still, this is the part we're currently making.
ACOC. At the end, it was raining a little harder, so my girlfriend and I ran to her car, smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat.
So yeah, this is not yet ready, but this is going to be the chaotic part in the end, which is going to be, I'm going to be taking this and putting this into pizzicato. Here we go. And then it's going to get back to normal, that's the idea.
Wispy whiskers.
So you have a little adventure,
Finnish spring
very
is like.
good. Good to go to adventure, see the nature around us. Is it very late spring there already? See Mikko Alatalo feature Mokoma to see what Finnish spring's like. I will actually put that name down. I don't know I'm going to be strike down from the heavens because of that. But the name is up there. I'm gonna be checking it afterwards to see what that is. But yeah, Finnish summer. It's snow all the day. Snow all the day. So now this is the part I'm basically trying to do something. And then of course I need to have the other melody instrument in there. I think I'm gonna be just keeping like. Yeah, this is the best one, I think. Here we go. And then I'm going to be adding other instruments that are going to be joining the end chaos. This is going to be a chaos.
PBSA. It would be a mix of Megalovea from Undertale, Megalostrix back from Earthbound / Mother and striking the demo down from Swap, and Undertale Alternative Universe.
Well, that's a fan fiction if I've ever heard one.
And the plants and leaves were so green I wondered if during the lockdown, fairies and elves lived there haha. Yes, actually
nature
I
is
am
very
so
beautiful,
happy this summer we will be more often in nature and mountains. Black Heart.
Ah, yeah. In Finland,
Wispy
personally...
Whiskers. Does pits mean pizza or pizzicato?
Pizzicato, I think it means. I don't know how do you play pizza with violin. I don't know how that sounds. Personally, pizza as an instrument sounds very untenable. But possibly, you know, I've seen someone make kind of just water bottles. Of course, they are easy to make instruments. You can just blow them. But I've seen like water sort of like a spoons made of instruments and like that. No, you never know. Some food things you could make out of an instrument. Who knows? Who knows?
ACOC. As the beaches will still be closed, we will find some freshness in the mountains.
Man, beaches, they're like the best part of the summer. You cannot close them. Of course, gladly, I have this sort of secret lake up there. There's nobody there, so it's very good to go to swim there. It's, of course, very cold here at this point on, but I think in summer it could be very warm. I'm very much hoping, because I'm actually going to be spending here in the countryside quite a long while, and I want to, like, the late autumn
PBSA.
swimming water.
In case of the weather in here yesterday
It's
was
like
cloudy
magic,
and
man.
sometimes
see
it
it.
rained like it was April, and today is sunny and warmer.
Yeah, it's very different some days, and it's sunny again outside. But no, I just saw 1 hour ago snow pouring from the sky, like somebody just like switched the whole thing. I don't know. I don't know how this whole thing works. I don't know how this whole thing works. Well, perhaps this is a bit too chaotic, though. Perhaps possibly
Door
it's a
handle.
bit too chaotic.
How did you learn composition?
Door handle, I've been studying composition,
Trophy,
self-studied.
congratulations.
I've been with some
You've
composer
received
teachers
100
before, but
messages
only very
today with
briefly.
Restream
Most of my
chat.
thing is that just being putting this composing program called Sibelius 7.5. Let me actually write it down here. Sibelius 7.5. Just studying it and doing it. And just doing it so
Wispy
long that I
whiskers.
know somewhat of it.
This
I
is
don't
way
of
more
everything.
freshness than anyone expected. New Old Spice bar soap, never leave your house again.
Yeah, man. I personally really think it's a part of human nature to go outside and enjoy nature. I don't really say you should be all the time just inside of the house, because I actually know, even from studying from school, that you know about immunity and such, that if you just inside of your house all the time, you're gonna get more sick and more sick, because of course sun and all these good things are gonna help you out. So personally, being a lot of outside, of course it's up to people. I know some people are scared about the sickness, and of course if it's deadly as they say, I suppose you could. I suppose in Finland I'm so far from the people, so I don't really need to see it.
Spurgilema.
I'm just like in this forest.
It's been oddly cold here.
It is kind of. Do you mean where is that? Where do you live? Do you have interest door handle? Which is do you have any interest on learning some music creation yourself? Now let's get back to the business, indeed, because now we need to copy the first part we have. and put it as a reality of things. I just talked about virus and now I'm going to be coughing here. Yeah, very good. It's just my room is having a very weird sort of
PBSA.
temperature changing sometimes.
The only time I go out is to put the trash out, because the trash won't go to the trash cans by itself.
Very good.
Yet.
Otherwise, your place is going to be a dungeon of its own,
Here
a
in the
level
States.
with a lot of poisoning enemies over there. Yeah.
PBSA.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Let's go forward and let's leave it behind. The thing is, yeah, man, you know, if that's why they said bless you in the past, because goddamn, it was dangerous to really, like, they thought, like, you know, all these sicknesses, they're gonna kill people easy and such. That's why they said bless you all the time, and I think, you know, that's kind of fitting. Bless you. Because of course, you know, sickness is way much more dangerous beforehand, because nobody washed their hands. Imagine, so dirty world. Even the Sun Queen of the French were so dirty. Everybody's like, ugh, ugh. In modern standards, everybody would be like, ugh, ugh. If we would see them, we would be like, God damn, are you really the king of France?
That was from an Old Spice commercial. I thought it fit the situation in a creepy, morbid way.
Like that Simpson episode in 1996, or was it 1999? Yeah, which was like, you know, they were releasing a deadly bioweapon in that Simpson episode, which were blamed on cats. Yeah, eerily similar, right? We're living some lovely times. So let's listen here over this side and see how we are doing.
Door handle. Yeah, I used to compose a lot for the piano.
Ah, piano.
Nothing like what you're doing though.
Of course, there's different ways to compose. Oh. Okay, I'm not going to go that chaotic though. That sounds terrifying. Terrifying, yeah. I didn't like that at all. Let's keep it like this. I'm going to be putting some... Here we go, like this. I'm going to be making this less chaotic. Yes, that's the idea. It shouldn't be this chaotic at all. Yeah. I'm not happy on the process. So let's delete it. Also, you have been doing some piano music yourself. I see. What sort of songs? Have you done like some kind of a ballads? Actually, no. There was this friend of mine who made this sort of singing ballads for her pop music sort of things. He had this sort of pop project. I think she still have it. Yeah, if I remember.
PBSA.
Right.
Bless you was said because people think if someone sneezed they would die soon, and it was a way to make them go to heaven.
See you later.
Wispy whiskers. Maybe a bit too simple.
Possibly, yes. Possibly. We could change that. I don't... Perhaps I should actually do this sort of like this. Sort of like this. Yeah, very nasty times beforehand people had. And of course, people died very much, you know, when having cough and this sort of stuff. People died young. I would be in like my prime age, you know. I should be trying to find in medieval times a wife soon and, you know, do offsprings or something like that. I personally actually want to somewhat soon have a family. That's
Is the key to health in Finland a good trip to the sauna?
Sauna! There's actually two things, you know. If you go behind a sauna, that means basically someone comes and shoots you, you know, saunan taakse, behind of sauna. But if you go into sauna, then it's like, you know, of course, a healthy thing, and people drink beer, and that's what they say in Finland. If you drink, if the sickness doesn't get cured by drinking a lot of beer and going to sauna, then you're dead, essentially. That's how it in Finland works. I used to work at least. Of course, we have a current medication and that sort of.
ACOC. How many times a day do you go to sauna?
It's kind of simple. I don't like it. It kind of has dropped my enthusiasm on this. So let me actually take it away.
PBSA.
Yeah.
And funny, I play the piano. I am an amateur. but at least I can play with both hands.
That's very good. That's very good, actually. Many, it's for many a very hard part to go. 1 time per sauna a day. It actually takes a lot of wood to warm a sauna. So if you cannot really keep it all time but. Of course, in Midsummer's party, Midsummer's Eve, the sauna is always there. And then we go to lake and eat good food and have a lovely bonfire outside. That's what we do. It depends on the time. Of course, Christmas is another one that we have a sauna open quite a lot. Now, let me try to now fix it. So the idea is, I don't like this part at all. I've been just kind of jammed in this. So let's fix it. I want to keep this. And then bum 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 dun 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 dun. This could be done. Yeah, it's like there are different ways to compose. Like, you know, some people compose for piano. Piano is a very useful instrument when you do compositions. You can actually kind of see the bass on the other hand and the melody on the other hand. You can like imagine it in your mind very easily. That's why I think it's the best instrument for composers, a piano. It's like
Wispy Whiskers. It's strange how the Black Death affected the world. It created a terrifying image of death, but even though a lot of people died, those who were left were all better off.
That's the interesting dichotomy in this sort of thing, that, you know, sometimes, like even after World War, the generation that survived from the war were actually much more stronger, much more capable. And the peace times creates weak people, and the war times creates more strong people.
Is that true that when you go to sauna, you sometimes punish yourself with a plant? You whip yourself with the plant.
Yeah. With the what's the koivu? I'm actually going to the translator again. Koivu. Birch branch. Yes, birch branch. Very, very healthy. Actually, it's not a punishing thing. It's actually a very healthy thing. I tell you, it is a. It is actually one day people didn't have soap in the past. Actually, it smells very good when you do it, and it doesn't hurt at all when you have the leaves on. Actually, that's the interesting part of it. Yeah, hurt. It's not like, you know, that old medieval flick where people just like hit themselves on the head all the time. Yeah. Now let me try to fix this whole thing.
Does it hurt?
No, not at all. When you have the leaves, it doesn't hurt at all. It doesn't hurt at all because the thing is, leaves alleviate the pain. So we have the so idea is this. So we have like so it doesn't actually isn't painful at all. Does anyone here know about that sort of idea of how things were done? Yeah, but it isn't that bad at all. It is some people say ouch, but I personally doesn't really. It is actually very, very nice. You know, there's this sort of tradition. You go to the birch trees, cut those branches, make this sort of vihta. That's the word for it. And then we have like. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm really happy on the current part we are doing. It's kind of a lackluster, to be honest. We're going to be, of course, making it better, hopefully. And then... something like that. This is alright.
Wispy Whiskers. Yes, and number. You spank yourself with it, but it doesn't hurt. And it's not a branch, it's a bundle of twigs.
Yeah, twigs, that's a better one. The thing is, people see like other people outside of Finland that sauna is some kind of a sexual thing. It's not at all. It's kind of this. It's one of the best things out there, man. You know, it's like some people are like in other countries, like they make brothels at like, you know, they call them saunas or something. Like it's kind of nasty because the saunas is actually not that sort of activity place at all. It is actually. It is just a cleaning up. It is one of the best experience for cleaning up because the thing is, it's so hot and at the same time, like, I personally have an addiction to sauna. To be honest, that's my addiction. A very, it can go to unhealthy levels if you take too much. No.
Aiko C. Look, and you do that alone or sometimes someone else spank you?
I suppose both ways. Okay, that starts to sound kind of like a, yeah. I can see why other, you know, people from other countries kind of like, to sauna, you know, spanking people like that. It is usually you do it yourself. That's the thing. But I can see why people get that sort of image from Finland. You know, it's nothing like that to be honest. Let me actually save this whole thing.
Spurgilema. It's therapeutic, especially right after a swim in a cold lake.
Ah, yes, of course. Yes, of course, you're from Finland yourself, so of course you know. Yes, indeed, we have Finnish people that know the truth. Sauna is the greatest place of one of the greatest places in the world. Here we go. This is the part I don't really like, though. This is I need to fix it, and you cannot see it very good.
Whispers. Spank is not really the right word.
Yeah, I tell you.
Think of it as a massage.
Sort of like massage, yeah. It is very relaxing. And that's why we go there. That's the idea. Some other countries taint the heritage of saunas and make it something, ugh, but yeah, it's not like that.
Blinded journeyman. That's pretty cool theme so far. Gives me the cautious vibe that some of the RPGs on N64 had. Maybe with just a bit of hope.
Hey, blind journeyman, good to see you. Are you
in Portugal we also have saunas. The most famous is one that was named after a queen and she went there to be better of health. I can't remember the name of the sauna.
Of course, there's different saunas, but Finnish traditional sauna, of course, is the best. There's Turkish sauna, which is sort of like a lame steam sauna, to be honest. Like, nothing against Turks, but you know that's not how sauna should be. Let's try to listen this with updated instruments. Thanks for the feedback, Blinded Journeyman. It's not it's kind of limited still. We have to, of course, make it better sounding, of course. Let's try to put a note performer for it and make it sound much better. At least in theory, that's the idea. Glad you like it. Have I seen you in the channel before? Am I familiar? I'm not sure. Let's listen. How does this sound? We have some. And then we have to do And with the other instruments, let it join. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Yeah, actually, we made a quite a lovely song. That's why I want to use midis, because then when you first use midis, then you have this sort of awe moment when you're putting other instruments, because you should be able to make a song that is good enough for midis, and then you're gonna kind of improve it later on. I think this is gonna have some kind of a good part on it. Yeah, I suppose. I kind of like it, somewhat at least. Actually, I like this song. Yeah. And this I need to change.
Aiko C. So I guess if I go to Finland, I won't forget my swimsuit to go to saunas.
Usually, there's no swimsuits in saunas. That's the idea. But of course, then there's female saunas, male saunas. Kind of the sauna periods. Females go first, and then of course males go second, or something like that. It depends. But there's no this sort of like blah 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 sort of atmosphere that usually you see in those sort of like how sauna is kind of seen in the larger world. What are your thoughts on the song? Hey, the Portugal is a sauna. It must have name the Queen. So what sort of sauna is Portuguese sauna? Let me actually know. Yes. Let me listen to this again. This a lovely theme of ours, which is I suppose alright. Yeah, actually, I'm going to be deleting this one away from it. I'm actually going to make this one. Actually, yeah, that's an idea I have, which I actually got from Whisper Whiskers, if we're still here. Which is that we make this a positive sort of dungeon atmosphere, this one. And let's make it so. And we're going to be using this in the peaceful section of a dungeon. Sort of like a curiosity of the dungeon. It kind of reflects that, yes. So we're going to be adding this in the end of the whole thing. And then of course when the dungeon gets much more nastier, then this whole thing changes. Let's just put it down there. And let's have the atmosphere come here. We have around 1 minute and 20 seconds of music, which
Blinded Journeyman.
Yeah, which is very lovely.
Been here a few times. Stumbled
Hey.
on your channel via the BitChute a while back.
Very lovely.
As
very
for
lovely.
current state, few employed. Good grave people in USA overreacted to this current illness.
Yeah, I suppose overreacted for many places in Finland as well. Like, thing is, it's good to be careful of the bio things. I think there's going to be even bigger one very soon. I think because they have seen that we are like just like when they hit us with this sort of bioweapon. But the thing is, it's going to be much worse next time. But I tell you, we overreacted here in Finland as well, I suppose. I've of course, some say it's bad, and I've even had my friends say that it's bad. But I look at the numbers, and of course, it is still a bioweapon. It's a thing that is made in lab, but still, the thing is, the numbers are not as they were projected back in the March. Yes.
Wispy Whiskers. Welcome to the club, pal.
Welcome to the club. Yeah, it's very nasty. Is there a lot of unemployment there? Man. What is fun employment? Fun employed. It's like, fun being unemployed. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah. Very good to see you, Journeyman. And lovely to have enjoyed time over here. And good to hear from people that have watched. I'm sorry to hear about your situation. But I tell you, like, Finland, we have kind of same. But I've seen America, it's even worse. I've heard. My friends say it's like a chaos. People are like rioting in the street sort of fashion. I don't know, is it true though? Let me know.
Welcome to the club, pal.
And for some reason I cannot hear anything. Yeah, in Finland we are not rioting. We are very we honor the, even if our leaders are sometimes bad, we still are like not very keen on rioting, even in
Wispy
bad
whiskers.
situations.
It's like unemployment, but fun.
Unemployment, goddamn. Ah, man, snow again. It's snowing again outside.
Spurgilema. Our government shut everything down and have not helped us.
Man. Nasty, I tell you. I kind of like that. Not about the government shutdown, of course. Very nasty. Spurgilarma, it's a. We have kind of been failed by, in some places. Of course, in Aiko is from France. The lockdown is kind of only just recently been open, I think. Yeah, it's very different from different areas. There's this one friend who lives in. What's the place? Indonesia? Yeah, somewhere in Indonesia. What's the country? Starts with P. But yeah, like the thing is, he's in there. A lot of density with people. He's going to be taking the vaccines and such. And I'm like, we are living crazy times, man. I don't know. What do you believe? Let me actually know. It's very crazy times. Crazy. I think could be the positive sort of vibe in the dungeons.
Wispy whiskers. Polynesia.
What was it? Philippines. Philippines. Yeah, that's the one. Is that in Indonesia? Yeah, I think it's in Indonesia. Have I don't know. I never have to check out. By the way, a nice Poirot thing on You Have Wispy Whiskers, of course. Poirot is a very lovely. Have anyone here looked Poirot beforehand? But I tell you, thanks for coming to the stream. I think this theme is. Let me still listen it one time. But I tell you, this is actually has developed quite pretty lovely, and it has this sort of classic N64 sort of dungeon thing. Here that has this sort of chaotic part, of course. RPG dungeon without the chaotic music part, like in Dragon Quest games. It is not a dungeon, of course. It's not a real dungeon at all.
Down here in France, we found our freedom last Monday, but there are still French areas that must be careful. Especially in North France. In the south, we're good. Spurgilema. Right now where I am, people are fighting with each other about how everyone should wear mask or how is a restriction of freedom.
Oh man! Right now where I'm, people fighting on the
Wispy whiskers. Those are the facts, Hastings. Those are the facts.
Is it the fact, Hastings? My little grey cells have found out the truth about the whole virus situation. There's been a disease from the east. Our enemies have released it, and we are under danger. That's what the pointer would say, the correct situation, I suppose. Or, I don't know. Actually. But right now, it's very nasty,
Like your compo, Elias White smiling face.
Campo? What do you mean by campo? Well, if you like about the music, I'm very happy that you like it, hopefully. But I tell you, it's very nasty that people fight with each other. We should be actually working together.
What is that accent?
That is the Hercule Poirot accent. Hercule Poirot is a Belgian detective, the most famous detective that have ever lived in this world. Indeed, Belgium.
ACOC. Compo equals composition.
Combo. Oh, very good, very good. Good to know. So I'm very happy that you like the composition, and this was dungeon theme for today. It's going to be a part of the game I'm currently developing. First level
Wispy
of it.
whiskers.
Indeed.
Belgian, I think.
Belgian, indeed. I don't know about Belgian though. I might be actually ruining it, making the Belgians ashamed of myself. But who cares? Who knows? I don't know. It's accents, you know. I can do funny accents. I don't think it's still restricted in the law to make accents. I don't know. But of course, Finnish accent is not really. It's not to run home about. I tell you, Finnish accent is just like English. Finnish accent is just like I want to eat a bread. Bread is very good. Bread tastes very nasty. Like, you know, it's just like it's just so like blocky. Yeah, sort of fashion. But anyways, thanks for coming to the eluukkanen composing stream today. It was a pleasure having you in. We had made a dungeon theme, which is quite something, I tell you. A dungeon worth exploring, perhaps? Who knows? Who knows? We shall see when we do more of these streams. We had actually very good suggestions on future stream by PPSA, by making Linux in tutorial for dummies and all these sort of streams. We do stream every day. I had yesterday a gap between that because I had streamed last 20 days, but now back to streaming. Glad to hear you, and I tell you, whatever the situation is, we need to try to find common ground. Spergilarma and others. Like, the thing is, we cannot fight with each other with this. This is the thing. Like, it's so nasty that, you know, some people, like, they try to, like, force people on, like, doing this sort of, like, medical sort of stuff. Like, but the thing is, we need to work together. We need to try to find a common ground on this. And that's why I'm really going to countryside now and trying to, like, grow potatoes and do this sort of stuff, because, you know, you never know what's going to happen. I've actually heard in some kind of parts of the world that they're actually hunting their own food, you know, because of this crisis, because some places have, like, not that much food. So we have to be very careful, my friend, and all will go good with you. My prayers are on you, I tell you. Thanks for coming to streams, wherever you are, whoever you are. I wish you good day. See you later. And good regards from the dungeon, the cave place. Oh yes. Let's still listen it as the stream closes.